أستاذة ولا جبر ممكن أسأل سؤال؟
اتفضلي.
أستاذة البنات مسوين لي جروب للواتساب عشان يعني نتعاون فيه ونسأل أسئلة وكذي.
ايوه
لأن أنا اليوم
ايوه.
أول محاضرة أحضرها.
دي بيتهيألي عاملين، ممكن تدينا الرقم؟
بلا في جروب السكشن تاعنا.
بس
ممكن
هو
ياخذون رقمي؟
نفس الجروب للكل، مظبوط؟
للسكشن تاعنا احنا.
طيب انا هعطيكي الرقم.
إن شاء الله.
اوكي، 99.
لحظة شوية.
اوكي. بس ده بس للسكشن not for the all course. Okay, good.
أيوة.
99.
أيوة.
85.
إيه.
21.
إيه.
92.
مشكورة لك العافية.
اوكي، 99852192. اوكي.
مشكورة.
Hello. شكرا. No problem. Sorry. Okay. Let's start chapter 2. Today we will talk about business ethics and social responsibility after we have taken many of the business concepts and the basics of economics and business in the last chapter. Today we will talk about two important concepts in business: business ethics and social responsibility. أخلاقيات الأعمال والمسؤولية الاجتماعية. Okay, these are the learning objectives for our chapter today. And let's start with the business ethics. يعني إيه أخلاقيات أعمال? What are business ethics? We all have ethics, right? We all have principles. We all have standards, even our personal standards and personal ethics. It can come from our beliefs, it can come from our religion, it can come from everywhere. But these are personal ethics. However, we have the same, but for business, also standards and the principles that determine the right thing, the right action, the acceptable conduct. Conduct means behavior, the acceptable conduct within the business. This conduct or this behavior should be determined or might be determined by many parties. Like the organization itself, it can determine the right conduct to be done in this organization. It can be determined by the customers, it can be determined by the stakeholders, the competitors, the government, the interest group, or even the public. The bottom line is that we have this acceptable behavior. سلوك مقبول وأخلاقي معين موجود في الorganization. This is the business ethics. Why we have business ethics in any organization? We have this, any organization want to show that we have standards, we have principles to build trust. If you know that, yes, this organization, I trust this organization. Why? Because they have these principles, they follow these ethical principles when they are dealing with customers, with employees. When you know that a certain organization is dealing fairly with their employees, what do you think? Yes, you will trust this company, you will trust this organization. And sometimes we say that trust is the glue that holds relationships together. Yes, sometimes trust is that we come back to a certain organization and buy products from it. I trust this organization. I trust they do good things. They deal fairly and with honesty with either employees, customers, and with the whole society. That's why we need to build this trust. Sometime during the financial crisis, customers lost their trust with their financial institutions, banks and insurance companies. During that period, people keep their money at home, not at their their regular financial institutions. Okay, so when they lose trust, they leave the company. They don't interact with the company. That's why we need trust in our relationships with the organizations. Now moving to another expression, tone at the top. This is an expression. Tone, you know the music tone and the skin tone, and it's like the situation. It means the situation, the tone. What is happening up there? Up there where? Where? Up there at the top. What is the top? What is the meaning here by the top? Top of what?
The managers?
Yes, top of the organization. The top of the organization. Who is at the top of the organization? Yes, top level management. Why are we asking about the tone at the top? Why are we asking about the situation up there at the top level management? Why do we care about the situation up there? Because if the top managers, the top level managers, they have ethics, they follow the rules, and they follow the ethical principles in the organization, I figure out that the same or the rest of the employees at several management levels will follow the lead. But if they don't follow the lead, if they don't follow the principles, if they just put principles and standards for employees, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to have this dress code, or you have to come at time, don't waste much time, don't misuse the company resources. And I find that the managers are doing so. What would be the situation here? يعني إذا كانوا هم ما بيلتزموش بالقواعد نفسها، ننتظر إيه من بقية الemployees? They will follow the same. Okay, but if the managers, they show commitment to ethics and compliance, this tone at the top requires managers to acknowledge their own role in supporting ethics and compliance. They should communicate these ethics while they are doing it. Okay, so they should communicate this ethics with the other employees, and they must show and communicate their expectations. What are they expecting from their employees to do? And they must follow the rules. Yani, I don't ask them to do something and I don't do it. Okay, that's why the tone at the top is very important regarding the compliance of ethical rules. This is about ethics, business ethics. What about the social responsibility? Social responsibility may seem similar, but yes, but it's not. What is social responsibility? Social responsibility means بالعربي اسمها المسؤولية الاجتماعية. يعني إيه مسؤولية اجتماعية? I want to do something to the society because this business, they operate in a given society. As I said before, we are not an isolated island. We live in a society. We operate in a society. We are using the resources in the society and having profit and benefits from this society. So what shall I do? I must give something back to this society, something good to this society, and I will try to minimize my bad effect on this society. This is social responsibility. Having good or positive point or positive effect to the society and minimize the negative effect on my society. Like what? Like doing what? Having events, having campaigns toward مثلا fundraising to charity cause, okay? I remember many of the examples, but I want to hear from you. ايه من الشركات, what organization do you remember that they are doing social responsibility? Either by maximizing the good impact or by minimizing the negative impact. Do you know any example? فيش حد بيعمل مسؤولية اجتماعية؟ شركات سواء محلية أو عالمية. I'll give you some examples then. You know the Pampers, the baby diapers, okay? Sometimes they have this campaign that we will take يعني مثلا a small amount or مثلا of the price, a part of the price of the pack to help vaccinate the children in Africa. Or when Tom's Shoes, you know Tom's Shoes, this American brand, Tom's Shoes, when they sell one pair of shoes, in exchange, they donate one pair of shoes for children in need. Okay. McDonald's and Burger King, they مثلا say that, and this is true, that one day they say all the sales from their famous sandwich, even I think from McDonald's it was the Big Mac, and for Burger King it was the Whopper مثلا, they donated all the sales from these sandwiches in one day to help يعني for cancer charity, cancer patients for charity. So they are trying to give something good back to the society. And not only this, they are trying to minimize the negative impact on the society. What is the meaning of negative impact? Not harming the society. So then when McDonald's, they were replacing their plastic bags with paper bags, they are trying to minimize the negative impact. Why plastic bags and paper bags? Because plastic bags, they never dissolve. However, paper bags are recyclable. So they are trying now never. We have plastic, well, they do, still do, plastic bags? I don't think so. They are replacing it with paper bags. Okay, so when we have production, of course, we have waste, and we have to dispose this waste in a safe way. Some organizations are doing so. They are trying to follow the rules to dispose the waste of production safely. However, some others are not, but this is social responsibility, trying to maximize the good impact and trying to minimize the bad impact. When they are doing so, the social responsibility represents the whole, the impact of the entire organization. And this is the difference between social responsibility and business ethics. Business ethics, it is the individual or even group behavior inside the organization. However, social responsibility is the impact of the whole organization on the society. So this is the difference between business ethics and social responsibility. Okay, for business ethics, again, we need to recognize and resolve the issues. We have several issues in businesses. So we are trying to recognize we have these ethical issues in business, and we are very concerned about the public perception of these issues. So what shall we do? We need to resolve it, recognize it, and resolve it. What is the business ethical issues? ايه هي المشكلة الأخلاقية؟ يعني ايه مشكلة أخلاقية؟ احنا عندنا البيزنس ethics أخلاقيات الأعمال. أمال إيه هي البيزنس issue? This is a problem. It's a problem, an identifiable problem or a situation or an opportunity in which the person is required to choose from different actions. Shall I do this or shall I do that? This is an issue. You have to ask yourself, shall I do it? What I do in this situation, okay? So let's see some of these ethical issues. First of all, the bribery. This is a very important problem. عارفين bribery يعني إيه؟ Do you know? Yes. رشوة. Bribery يعني رشوة. A very serious problem. A very serious ethical problem. مشكلة أخلاقية جامدة جدا. Okay, what is bribery? Payments, gifts, or special favors intended to influence the outcome of a decision. Yes, this happens. And this bribery, it's not very easy when we have bribery in certain organization or even in a certain country, when we have it custom among the country, and sometimes the employees are taking a bribery without even fearing. This is very complex, not very easy, because sometimes, yes, it's known. Although not legal, but it's known. Sometimes to resolve this ethical issue, it requires a lot of actions from the top to bottom. Okay, because it is sometimes an organizational culture. This bribery, it's an organizational culture, not exposed, not but yes, hidden, but all people knows about it. So it's very important about this bribery. Okay, another ethical issue is the misuse of company time. يعني ايه misuse of company time؟ يعني انا جيت 5 دقايق متأخر. This is a misuse of company time. Okay, جيت شغل متأخر 5 دقايق 10 دقايق ربع ساعة نص ساعة. This is misuse of company time. I leave my work early. This is a misuse of company time. Rather than working, I left early. Or I take my lunch break rather than 1 hour, I take 1 hour and a half. What would, okay, no problem. What would happen? Okay, or sometimes I find some of the employees when they first come to their work, they don't do anything. Yalla, okay, let's have breakfast and drink coffee first. Oh, but you have clients. No problem, they can wait. This is misuse of company time. Or you can surf your mobile, you can see your social media, Facebook, or watching YouTube. Why? Yani in the time that you are supposed to be working. This is a misuse of company time. This is an ethical issue. أنت مش المفروض تعمل كده. أنت المفروض تشتغل. Okay, if you have a break, you have lunch break. You have to stretch and eat lunch and okay. But you have working hours in which you have to work. Obviously, these are working hours. So it costs companies billions of dollars. This misuse of company time. Also, we have abusive and intimidating behavior. This is very serious. Like bullying, like harassing, like discrediting people, bad words and bad behavior with the employees or even customers. Abusive, عنيف, intimidating, تهديد أو مخيف. This is very important ethical issues. Like what? Like what actions? Like spreading rumors to damage others. إثارة الإشاعات والكلام الخاطئ. Blocking others' communication in the working place. Flaunting status or authority to take advantage. I am your doctor. You have to do this and that because I have a flaunting status. This is wrong. This is abusive. Taking advantage of my state, not mine, yani. The status to abuse others. Discrediting other ideas and opinions. Using email to demean others. عشان أقلل منهم. Failing to communicate to or return communication, just ignoring. Insults, yelling, shouting. Using terminologies to discriminate by gender, race, or age. Using eye or body language to hurt others or their reputation. Sometimes the body language hurts more than words. And also taking credit for others' works or idea and taking it as if it's ours. So these are all abusive and bullying and discrediting others. Very serious ethical issue. Another ethical issue, which is the misuse of companies' resources, not only time, but other resources, any resources, photocopying machines, papers, even stationery and other facilities, okay? The misuse of company time, spending excessive times on personal emails or using the telephone, the company telephone to make personal phone calls, using a company copier for personal use. So all these are a misuse of company resources. The conflict of interest, another ethical issue here. Conflict of interest means that we have different interests. Conflict, عندنا تضارب مصالح. Between mean and mean. Between who? Between the employee and the organization. And I want to ask you one question. If you have this conflict of interest, would you choose your interest or the company's interest? And in the ideal world, the ideal answer is, I choose the company's interest over mine. And this is very hard. This is very hard. Would you choose the company's interest over yours? Yes, in the ideal world I would, but sometimes it feels very difficult to do it. It's no, why would I do this? Why I choose my company over my interests? Okay, only if your company is showing good intentions and following good ethical issues. Yes, you would do it. But to resolve this issue, we can ask ourselves, why wouldn't erase the conflict of interest in the first place? Yani, what if I say to the employee, if you sell more, you will get a bonus. So their interests are aligned مع بعض. لو بعت أكتر كسبتني أكتر, so I will give you more bonus. If you sell more, I'll give you more. So their interests are aligned. مش conflict, لا, متوازي, مش متقاطع. Okay, so this is the conflict of interest. Okay, this is just a small point about how to increase fairness and honesty for employees. They must abide by the laws, cause no harm through dishonesty. This is easy to read. And also for companies, using fair competition practices, give full disclosure of potential harm or fraud, keep company secrets, meet obligations and responsibilities, how to increase honesty and fairness for both employees and the company. Any questions so far? All is clear? The online students, do you have a question?
No, Doctor, thank you.
Okay. What is fairness and honesty? العدالة لا قلتوا ايه الأول؟ النزاهة, yes. Okay. When we are trying to increase fairness and honesty, there is a very important ethical issue here, which is the plagiarism. Maybe you have heard about plagiarism before, and if you haven't, you will, because we ask you to test any report you are making, any assignment you would make, we will check for plagiarism. Yes, الانتحال والاقتباس الفكري. Okay. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is taking the ideas and written works of others as if it's ours. I take, yani if I ask you to do a report on something, so you are taking someone else's work and just to change a little bit and put your name without referring to the original source. Or among the Plagiarism Act also, you will find some students opening the internet website, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Even from different sites, not from all from one site. From different sites, copying a bit from here, copying a bit from there, and then submitted without referring to the original source. This is a plagiarism. So it's an intellectual theft. Intellectual theft, سرقة فكرية. Taking someone else's work and presenting it as your own without mentioning the source is another ethical issue. That's why we are using Turnitin. Turnitin, سلم نفسك. Turnitin يعني إيه? Turn your work in to see how much plagiarism do you have in your work. Okay? طيب. We know now about the ethical issues. Let's see if you are encountering an ethical issue here and you don't know what to do. You don't know how, what your action would be. Okay, what would you do? The best thing is to ask yourself these questions. If you recognize an ethical issue, you need to have a certain action. What would you do? Would you do it or not? Sometimes there are some vague situations. Vague situations يعني إيه؟ مش عارف أعمل إيه، يعني مش عارف إذا كان غلط ولا إذا كان صح. Is it right or wrong? طب خلاص بقى أسيبه خلاص. طب ليه؟ ما ممكن يكون صح، ما تعمله. طب أعمله. لا، طب ما ممكن يكون غلط. So it's a vague situation here. What would you do in this situation? Better to ask yourself these questions. The first question is this act, is this issue, is there any laws or legal actions against it? والله أنا بفكر أبيع مخدرات، مش عارف ده صح ولا غلط. لا ده في قوانين وبتاع. لا غلط. اوكي سوري. طيب انا بفكر whatever. Okay, is there any legal actions against it? If yes, don't do it at all. طيب if no, ask yourself the next question. There is no legal restrictions against it, but is the company does the company have any specific code of ethics regarding this issue؟ يعني ممكن ما يكونش الجفرمنت عندها لوز، بس يبقى فيه باي لوز. عارفين الباي لوز اللي هي ايه؟ عارفين الباي لوز؟ القوانين الداخليه. القوانين الداخليه بتاعه المؤسسه. The bylaws. Do we have any bylaws? You know what bylaws? Bylaws in the law inside the organization, not the government laws, but the bylaws. Bylaws اللي هي inside the organization. Do we have any specific code of ethics or policy or bylaws? If they have against this action, don't do it. But if they not, ask yourself the next question. Is this activity customary in your industry? Not about your organization. Is it customary in your industry? يعني إيه customary؟ جاي من كلمة custom. Do you know what custom is? عادات. هل هو معتاد؟ هل هو معتاد في الاندستري؟ شفت حد بيعمله قبل كده وعادي it's all right. If it's all right, if it's not all right, don't do it. طب what if it's okay? Ask yourself the next question. Would it be acceptable among your co-workers? يعني if I do it, is it okay? Would they seem it's okay among my co-workers زمايلي والناس حواليا? Would it seem okay? مفيش قوانين ومعتاد وبتاع، بس is it customary among my co-workers? If it is not, خلاص. If it is yes, so it's time to ask yourself the last question. Is it okay with you? Is it okay with your beliefs? Is it fit your values and fit your beliefs? Even all the society and regulations say it's okay, but is it okay really with you? If it's okay, yes, it's the right thing to do. If it is not, at any step of these questions, so don't do it. That's how we are trying to resolve issues. We resolve problems. We have to think thoroughly about the bigger picture, the organization, the co-workers, and ourselves. Okay, this is about how to resolve the ethical issues. We have many factors that are affecting the business ethics, as we said before. We have our beliefs and values. We have others' beliefs and values. The society affects us. If you want to believe it or not, people affect us, and how people behave affects us. So our beliefs, our factors, business factors, managers and co-workers and the society, and of course the opportunities that we have. If we have the opportunity to do something good or something bad, it affects. If we are in a situation, أنا من موقعي هذا ممكن أقول لك لا ده غلط تعملوش، لا ده صح ده. بس if I am in the situation ممكن رأيي يتغير. Okay, so it's different and different factors that can affect us. Okay, code of ethics. What the code of ethics? إيه هي الميثاق الأخلاقي. These are formalized rules and standards that describes what the company expects from its employees. Of course, we have to communicate this with employees. We have to do to put the codes, the policies to encourage the acceptance of these ethical codes inside the organization. Sometimes we have to enforce them. Not only to encourage employee to do it, no, we have to enforce them. Okay, and it is stated from the beginning when the employee join the organization, we have these ethical codes and you have to be familiar with it and comply with it. Okay, this is why ethical codes are important. It's important. Why ethical codes? المواثيق الأخلاقية ليه موجودة وليه it's important? Of course they are. To increase fairness and to deal fairly with all employees, to know that they will behave and they follow what we have as a culture in our organization. They are referred to as documentation for all. If somebody did something wrong, we have this, you violated this ethical code, so you have to be punished or you have to be rewarded, whatever. So it's very important to have these ethical codes. Finally, we have this term, which is whistleblowing. Whistleblowing, you know what is whistle? A whistle? صفارة. يعني إيه بقى whistleblowing? Yes, exactly. When, you know, in the football match, when the referee is blowing the whistle, معناها إن stop, there is something wrong here. Maybe one player is down, or maybe this is foul or offside or whatever. So they stop everything because the referee blow the whistle, so something is wrong here, right? The same happens here in businesses. Somebody is blowing the whistle. We call him the whistleblower. Who's the whistleblower? Some employee exposed a wrongdoing to outside. إيه بقى outside the organization? زي إيه outside the organization? Maybe the media or the government, because we have something wrong. He discovered a wrongdoing. And most of the cases, they are anonymous. They are anonymous. يعني إيه anonymous? يعني غير معروف. Yes, unknown. Why? Because he's afraid. afraid of being punished, or afraid of يعني مثلا لو if he reported a bribery مثلا, so it can turn on me. Okay, so they are afraid. Okay, and we have some laws in the Congress to protect these whistleblowers. Okay. Yes, the same, improving ethical behavior in the, we are still in the whistleblower. Are establishing a program to encourage employees to report illegal or unethical practices internally. Don't go outside, we can solve it inside, so they are developing these programs to report it inside, but most of the cases they are reporting it outside. Expose them, بيفضحوهم to the media and the government, خلاص no turning back. لكن ممكن internally تتدارى، لكن externally exposing them, it's very hard to turn it back. Okay, and finally improving ethical behavior in business. Okay, moving away from legally based ethical program to cultural or integrity based programs. يعني it's not about laws. When we are doing ethical things, ethical actions, it's not about laws. ما هيش قوانين. It's about a culture. It's about integrity. Okay, so we trying to improve ethical behavior in businesses like this. Ethics programs are good for business performance and develop high level of trust functions more efficiently and effectively, and avoid damaged company reputations and product images. This is about the ethical behavior and in business and social responsibility. Okay, I thought to give you a part of the next lecture, but if you want, if you don't mind, because I did the same, it's usually this chapter, it takes 45 minutes, so I thought to increase our rate. So I thought every time I give you 1 chapter and a half, 1 chapter and a half, and finish early. So I can give you 10 minutes to take some breath and come back to begin another chapter. Is it okay with you? Okay? Okay, wait for you. 2 o'clock we will begin.